there is some real speculation that's flying around. Have you guys seen Trump's hand? It's pretty crazy, man. He golfed today when he went to the Ryder Cup. Okay, so it's a long time frame that he didn't actually golf for. And I do find it very odd because, like, he loves golfing and you can't stop him from golfing. So, like, is his human battery running out? And the reason why I ask this question is because I don't think his hand is busted from shaking hands. Because when this stuff first came out, okay, when these photos first came out a couple months ago, and then paired up with his cankles, people were like, "Oh, he's got some real issues. What's going on?" And then the White House's response was basically, "Oh, the president shakes a lot of hands, and that's the reason why his hand is like messed up." I think this is like an IV. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I don't know anything, but I feel like this is most consistent with like an IV drip bruise, right? The only time I've had bruising on my hand like that the president might want to cover up with makeup, even though it's like the shittiest application I've ever seen, which is shocking, would be if you were consistently getting IVs, and that creates some kind of bruising. You sure he's not trying to have bigger hands and it's a failed surgery? That's pretty funny. He's old as fuck and has thin skin. They're just hiding bruises, cuts, etc. It's common and just vanity. But yeah, it could be from. Okay, we do have a medical specialist in the chat, and he's saying he's old as fuck and has thin skin. They're just hiding bruises and cuts, etc. But it's like in the same. Andrew, isn't it weird that it's the same place? Like, do you think it could be actually from like extreme handshaking? Not if it's IVs like you said. I'm just speculating. I'm just, because like it's around the same place. So because it's so consistent, it almost feels like the reason why I thought it was potentially an IV drip is because it's so consistent. I glanced at a bunch of new articles about the recurring bruise on the back of Trump's right hand, which people have noticed since 2024, and they are oddly clustered around the 24th of the month. That suggests he's getting an infusion every month. That could be the case. Like, that's what it feels like to me. There's evidence of Trump receiving possible infusions since at least 2016 when he visited the Oval Office after the election. Then maybe add psoriasis, which would help explain his often splotchy appearance. No, that's okay. This is too much. It's an IV to clear fluid buildup from congestive heart failure. Symptoms are the same as what they say is more benign. They would swap the other hand if the hand's veins were exploding after having cancer and being hooked up for months of my life. They would swap vein sites. Well, not if it's just like once a month, right? Because this only happens like once a month, seemingly. I mean, he is just old. That is the truth, right? I mean, that's just what it is. He's fucking old. That is one thing you can't avoid, right? Aging. His big ass ankles are also common for his age due to chronic edema, usually due to congestive heart failure, which isn't like an instant death sentence and is treated with drugs. But look at him, man. Of course he has CHF. Yeah, he is not exactly a beacon of health, right? I don't think that's a controversial statement, right? We can agree that Big Boy has been looking like shit for quite a while. So, I mean, this is funny to me as a Turkish man, okay? As a Turkish American man, this is funny to me. Russians know what this feeling is like. Turks know what this feeling is like. This is usually very common in places, in countries where you got like a deeply unpopular autocratic leader that's just like fucking everything up. Yeah, Bolsonaro is another great example of this. Like that man is living in Final Destination, okay? He is in the hospital for longer periods of time than he is out in the real world, okay? It doesn't make any sense. Germs fear him, okay? Germs fear him. They look at him and they go, nah, dude, this is too much. Same with fucking Mitch McConnell. Dick Cheney, another great example. Dick Cheney's had like 11 hearts at this point, bro. And you just sit around and you're like, come on, man, give me something good. And every single time I've noticed when people understandably feel this way about a particular evil monster, they get more powerful, okay? They get more powerful. It's coming from a place of powerlessness, but ultimately it's just, it is what it is. Have you considered maybe being in the hospital feels good as fuck and you get juice and graham crackers and ice cream? Yeah, that's probably what it is. Didn't the guy who Dick Cheney shot in the face end up giving him an organ or something? I know the guy Dick Cheney shot in the face apologized to Dick Cheney for having his face be in the direction of buckshot. That did happen. That was a crazy moment.